Bro, I can't catch a fucking break, apparently. I'm actually, like, not joking when I say my computer literally just restarted itself. Like, I'm just sitting here, just kind of, like, talking, you know, jiving, minding my own business, and my computer just actually shuts off. It did this yesterday just before my stream, and I'm slightly concerned now. I have no idea what's causing that. I don't know if it's possible to have like a power draw issue or what have you. But yeah. That was not my internet. That was literally just my computer shutting off. Well, it's gonna be another one of those days, isn't it? Alright, well, either way, let's just fucking get some music going. Maple Story. Let's go with Maple Story. Relaxing Maple Story. Because honestly, there's so many Maple Story tracks that are like so not relaxing. Oh shit. I mean, I could play Helix. Helix. These nuts. I always gotta do it. I don't know why I always gotta do it, but I always gotta do it. I like this first playthrough. It might repeat itself, but it's more recent. Are you gonna play? Okay, let's avoid the nostalgia. With other nostalgia. You know what? Let's listen to the OG Maple Story theme. That's good shit. That's good shit. There's no other noise going on, so I probably don't have to make it that quiet. Okay, let's get Clip Studio open. But yeah, if my computer restarts itself again, I'm just gonna fucking scream. I'm just gonna be like, that's me screaming, to be honest. I don't really scream that much. Maybe on a stream I'll go like a oh, just cause you know gotta be the hype man. But on my own I'm like whatever. That's right. I don't 24/7 have streamer mentality, fucking whatever it is they do. Whatever it is you want to call their affect of like perpetually like sometimes streamers feel like a 30-year-old toddler discovering the world for the first time, but they just have access to more words. So they're just way more verbose about it, but they have just as much energy at screaming at everything. All right. Are we good? We're good. Actually, I'll go back for 1 second. Just because I don't want to, like, dox myself if I open up my file browser. Oh, shit, right. Oh, yeah, right, since I just opened on my computer, it's gonna do this. I'm gonna take a step away for 2 seconds because I need to transfer some files over. Because I don't draw on my main PC. Where's that fucking USB stick? Where are you, you little shitbird? There you are. I should have it now. I'm gonna plug this in. I swear to God, if like that somehow overloads my computer with like power draw from this tiny USB, I'm just gonna scream. How are we doing? Everything's still alive? Everything's still alive? This is in fact the right file. Excellent. I can now close that. Alright, and then we can begin. So I'm working on assets. Like I had this like the rough outline of what I'm gonna do lined up and just kind of work from there. I could have put a little bit more work into it, but I decided, I'll do that for the stream because I also have to draw the thumbnail. And you'll probably quickly realize one fatal issue I have when it comes to drawing. 1 second. My proportions can be dog shit. So this is intentionally supposed to have some kind of perspective going on. Because of the, like, I'm going with a certain bit of, like, wrestling intros for my Path of Exile video. So, I don't have the, actually, no, I do have the previous one. I can show you my past work. It's not on this computer, but I did send it to Discord, so I can kind of give you an example of my horrible proportions. It's always the heads. Like I can feel like the bodies are like fine. I try and not make everything look dummy thick on accident. But unfortunately, sometimes that is the reality of things. Just want to double check I'm not accidentally showing anything I shouldn't be. Yeah, we're good. So, there we go. Save image. So, minimize that. And go back to OBS. Well, that's the thumbnail for YouTube, but that's not what I want to put. Instead, I'm going to be putting this thing. So this is pretty much like the first part. I would say more like an animatic, obviously, where it's mostly just the still frames themselves. Because there's no way someone with my current level of knowledge can actually, especially shit like this, fully animate this. Eat my ass. Like, my entire ass. I will even give you some fucking butter to saute it with, if you're hesitant, because ain't no way that's happening. And yes, the pose is weird. Like, as far as for like the part that what I'm gonna be drawing next. And also you can argue the one I just drew. Listen, fuck you. But the joke does revolve around, well, let's say joke. The bit does revolve around my Path of Exile characters and their names and what they do. And this character just so happened to be called Valdami Mommy. So, yeah. You can imagine where the joke goes from there. Anyways, actually onto the drawing itself. I gotta rotate my chair a little bit. I had to like completely redo my setup. Because my drawing tab, one, my desk is super tiny. Two, my drawing tablet is fucking enormous. I did not realize how big it was when I purchased it. I'm gonna be completely honest. I just didn't. So it came in and it was absolutely fucking huge. So it will not work. Oh, whoops, I didn't want to do that one. I'm actually gonna change the face. I want it looking more towards the camera. One, it'll just be easier to draw. So I'm just gonna put it like right. Tilt it a little bit. In line with the neck. And I probably should zoom in a little bit more. There we go. That makes it a lot easier on me. No. Gotta keep it straight. There we go. And then here I will try to draw a line that hopefully isn't like fucking rock solid, like a fucking Roblox character. I'm really trying to avoid that stuff. But it can sometimes be hard making a slanted jaw look alright, while also not giving a character a really long face. Or too short of a face. Because sometimes that just happens. And I'll like rotate a little bit so that way... Lower it? That way... Lower it. I feel like that... the neck might... we'll see towards the end, but I have a feeling the neck is going to be perhaps a little too... You know what, let me edit that. Let me just lower it slightly. I can already see the head being too big. Shrink it a teeny bit, then lower it. We'll play it by ear later. So, first things first... Oh yeah, there's also one thing. Because obviously she's like stepping on the... That is what literally what's happening. She's putting their foot on the next character that will be introduced, which I'll then build off from there. So I will make a new folder, because this is just how I do it. I don't think anything I do is necessarily efficient. Oh, fun fact. I didn't know I could do this for, I think, a solid year and a half of drawing. The entire full year and a half I was drawing up to that point, I was literally doing facial features like this. Okay, you know, I got the neck, doing the head outline. Do I know if the lines are looking good? I literally have no idea. I was just freeballing it. So I only realized much later I could just do this. Did it like half opacity? Look, I can actually see what the fuck my lines are doing. You know, it's great, isn't it? Looking forward to see how I draw. I think I draw okay. Normally I wouldn't do. Normally outside of like old shit posts I used to do, I wouldn't draw on stream. But I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I've got enough experience. I'm not great. I'm not bad. I'm pretty alright. Fuck was I doing? Oh yeah. So first things first, I'll do the draw. I always tend to do the jawline first. So then you can kind of tweak the head from there. And because this helmet is actually going to have, it's like a mask. If you, actually, I could probably keep the other one on screen to see kind of like what I'm going for as far as looks. Maybe have some kind of, actually, here we go. On Discord. Go here. And change this image to this one. Let's see how big this is on screen. Not too bad. I'll keep out to the side there. So you can kind of see what I'm getting at. And trust me, the image is just as crunchy on your end as it is from mine, because you can only zoom in so far in Path of Exile. But this is a surprisingly detailed armor set, so I 100% am like I gotta post up on my phone too, so that I can like just look at the reference myself. There we go. So the mask generally covers most of the face. I kind of want to keep some of the chin. Like it seems like it's so the whole thing is like themed off birds. So I'm gonna make it curve downwards to the point, kind of like the top part of a bird's beak. And then it goes above, it goes like just past the ear. So probably what I can do is have it be a bit more shallow this way. Nah, that shows too much. There we go. And then it kind of rounds off. I'll like restart. Just like this is better. But they just have to curve inwards towards the end still. Kind of how a lot of bird beaks look. It's a lot of trial and error sometimes. I kind of like how it was the start. Actually, here. Well, I think to get the look, I might have to go past the chin. Let me just look at the... Yeah, it kind of actually stops right at the chin. Go like that. And raise it slightly. Okay, I think that's better. And then from there, it basically just fans out to cover the face. This is mostly like the body shape and additional armor layer that I do before I do my final line art pass. So so my sketch layer tends to be a bit scrungy. That's a word I made up. And I'll kind of work on the additional details. This is going to be a detail that people who may be paying attention might notice this isn't going to be a detail in the earlier piece. Because I never added it, but I will here. But there's actually this little lip first before the head adornments, which I just never did in the first piece. So it kind of just goes straight from the mask to like the little spiky flares on the side. Which also does make the little triangle I have kind of just out of nowhere on the prior drawing. But in this one, it can kind of flow a bit better. I think it goes like this. It's hard to tell from the small detail I can get. But also, it doesn't have to be perfect, so I'm just going to pretend it makes a little diamond shape, rather than a sideways square. It's slightly off. That is slightly bothering me. There we go. Better. And then, new layer for new part. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. I think ideally you'd want to like make distinct parts, distinct layers, just to make like shaping things around much easier. I forget that a lot. It's got about 3 little like struts here, holding it in place. Too far apart, or too close. There we go. I also want to point out we got a chat bot. Plane conservation. Ist. God damn it, Hawk. Get the fuck out of my head. Or, sorry, Tisani. I'm not gonna catch your fucking Cluwackas. Fuck off. I did my time. I forget why I did it. Oh yeah, I was looking for those, I was trying to get those new bond mods, and that took so long to get the reputation for it, and the what the fuck you want to call it, the specific subspecies. Oh, that was so ass. And so this kind of juts out from here, like in line with that. Let me move it a little bit further out. Actually, no, it does have to be like this. It's a bit more of a steeper angle like that. Probably make it longer. So that way I can move this further out. And then start going from here. There's a bit of space before the first bump. New bond? No, when they first made bond mods, I never got them because I think they were introduced while I was taking a break from Warframe. So when I came back and I saw how fucking good they were, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to do this. I'm gonna keep going down the circle. Making little bumps as they go along, and then this is like less of a less of a big spike. So no, that's not that don't look right. There we go. Oh shit. Probably this is where some people would like rotate the canvas a little bit to get a better angle. I am not those people. So now that once we finish this, we can see where I fucked up when it comes to the width. Overall, not terrible. I would say if anything, this part could be adjusted slightly. There we go. And honestly, sometimes it pays to be lazy. Okay, you're following again. Also, yeah, having specific animals is just the worst. It really was. Especially, okay, you know, especially because I found out there's been a very long bug. A very long-standing bug with the conservation where the baits that are supposed to attract specific animals didn't work. Like, so when you use the bait, you would almost always get the rarest animal. You would never get the in-between animal. So unironically, in order to get the I forget what it was called, like the Dax something something. It took me so many hours just because they were just bugged. And that's kind of been a thing for years and it was like never got fixed. I mean, obviously, up until then, no one was fucking doing conservation ever. So why the fuck would they care and fix that? But now that I was trying to do that, I'm like, man, I wish they would fix it. I mean, I got my shit, so I don't care anymore, but, you know, it'd be nice if they did. Maybe they have since then, I don't know. They have fixed a lot of shit constantly. That's, like, really small. Okay. That part's done. The feathers, I'm gonna be honest with you here. I'm just gonna vibe them out a little bit. That's basically what I did the first time. So they're like really big. But they're not too wide overall. They also kind of tend to go all over the place and overlap, so you can kind of like fill in the gaps here and there. That's a bit too thin. Or if you want to make one really curvy, you can kind of have it like go inwards like that. Put a little bend there. So it's like I think I did it in the first one as well, where one of the feathers folds in on itself. So like doing that, I basically make a curve, have it kind of almost flatten out and go back around, and then just add one quick line to kind of give it that little extra depth there. With you once being an exception because you're going for specifics because you wanted the conservation shoulder emblem. I mean, oh, like I said, don't get me wrong. Making the rare ones like really easy to do is nice for sure, but the fact that it makes the medium ones even rarer because there was no way to boost their chances, that sucked. All right, more feathers. I was thinking I literally could have made any other character in Path of Exile like look wise. I really did not need to go with this fucking insanely adorned helmet. But if I'm gonna be honest, I spent too much money on this. I'm gonna do it. I don't care. I really don't. There we go. And then kind of off to the sides they start. Oh, you're agreeing with me? Ah, okay. Since the conservation shoulder emblem... Oh, yeah, it did, right. I think by the end, I was able to get all of the conservation emblems. which is really fucking funny. I had so many spares of everything. Alright, and then actually it's a bit too chunky of a feather there. And then like towards here they start to fan outwards and like lay lower and kind of curve downwards too. I mean, technically feathers also have like much more rounded points. But that's so much extra effort, I'm gonna be honest with you. Fuck that. Okay, I think when they come around here too, they're basically like on the shoulder. Like level with the shoulder here. That there. It's kind of one of those like busy work things. When it comes to art, just like a lot of this is honestly like one of the examples of why I don't like drawing warframes. They have some amazing designs, but there's so much intricate detail in all the warframes that I want to fucking throw myself into a wood chipper. I'm gonna kind of like fuck myself by establishing what the fuck is going on here. Okay, I'll put that there, and then I can just... There we go. Got like a big chunky, big chunky feather there. It'll look fine when I kind of like go over it again. Does that look good like that? Yeah, I think it does. Listen, it looked alright once, I'm gonna keep abusing that effect. You'll never get practice if you don't do shit like that. Even if you use it almost to a comical degree. You gotta get your practice in somehow. Alright. And then like a more longer and narrow one there to kind of match the other side. Alright, fuck, that was ass. And even though the details are very hard to see, I kind of made up my own details in the prior image. So it's gonna be like, let's see if I have the image somewhere here. Where is it? Here it is. So I pretty much have a line going down the center, which forks into a Y shape up here. Which then goes down here and symmetrical. I just figured I'd add some kind of detail. I really have no idea what the fuck I do otherwise. And then, actually, okay, good, that was a separate layer. And then in between that, I just had like circles. Just to fill in some of that negative space a little bit. Since it's kind of rounded, I'm trying to give it more of a rounded effect by having the top part of this curve be a bit straighter. It could just be my brain fucking with me that it actually vaguely works, or I'm actually doing it right. I don't know. That's kind of the best part of being an artist. You have no idea what you're like, am I doing it right? I mean, because here's the thing, no one's gonna tell you no usually. Like, they'll look at it for 5 seconds, go, oh, whoa, what's this nice art you found, or you made, and then they'll just kind of like, maybe save it, and then never look at it again. This music sounds very Metal Gear Solid. You know, you're fucking right. It actually does. Holy shit. I love that. Okay, I never added ears. So, but I think... So... Honestly, I'm not really too good at doing ears from like a straight facing perspective. Hmm. I mean, it's only on screen for like a few seconds, so I'm not overly concerned. Nah, it does bother me slightly. I think it'd be flatter. I could bring up like a reference of like a person, but I'm lazy. Even though I literally am looking up a reference of the other art I just drew. I'm lazy. Okay. So now the heads then. So sometimes I actually do this a little bit differently than I usually do. I'll usually do the body first before I even touch the like clothing. All right. It's a bit narrow on the neck. Let's widen that a little bit. All right, that's good. And layer. So I'm trying to think. So the arm sits in front of the shoulder with this attempted perspective. So I'll just have it like that. And I'll just kind of go on with the arm. So this here will be the forearm, or the bicep. Which, if I can do my perspective right, I can do it like this, and it'll be like the tricep kind of covers the bicep a bit more. This is pointed right at you. You get to, or close to it at you. You get to see a bit more of that. I think kind of works. Normally, I might try tapering the tricep a little bit more, the forearm. But since the perspective is like the lower part of the triceps getting a bit bigger, it stays a bit more of the same size. But I also could be forcing perspective a little too hard. Now here, what I'm thinking is, I probably didn't need to have the arm out this far. I kind of want to have the arm out this far just so I can kind of see more of the arm to sell the stance. But also might end up involving the shoulders a bit, or a bit too much shoulders on this side. But let's see how it looks in the end. And since this is not a part of the perspective, I'm just going to keep doing that one normally. This is behind the hips. I don't have to worry about that. I'll just draw the hands. This will be like a fist later, so when I like actually get to the details of the hands, I'll work on that. Hands are going to be the bane of my life. They can go fuck themselves. Now, this is slightly angled like away from the character, so looking straight on, you wouldn't really see much different contours. But since this is a woman, slightly add this extra silhouette here. That way I can take that into account when I put on the armor. Now you can see how I usually do my body reference. You have the like gumdrop shape kind of here for the torso. I tend to kind of draw the waistline like based on the angle. So kind of ideally this would be kind of, I'm trying to think how I explain it. I'm not trying to explain it very well, but you can kind of get the idea of drawing this, like the contour kind of pointing upwards more to give that perspective of you're looking upwards rather than looking downwards or straight on the body. This line right here kind of like from the torso, I always end up doing just directly diagonal to immediately go into the hips. And I try, like, there's obviously that crease line. I think it's called the inguinal area, which is like kind of like that crease between your private area and your hips. This is kind of why I have that done. It's basically to give an idea of where the hips are versus like where the hips are versus where the thighs are. So like here, this line basically just represents the hips. So let me just a little bit. I tend to not personally like to do like a straight angle when I'm actually doing the art. I tend to just give this little curve, a bit softer. Like you don't, it would only be harsh like that if someone was, say, like a really low body fat percentage kind of a thing. Like they're very skinny. And then just go down here. Trying to get the illusion of the leg on top of something is difficult, I thought. The only thing I could, because you're looking on this thigh like pretty much dead on. Hold on. You see the mouse? I actually can't tell. Okay, yeah, so you do see my cursor here. So since you're looking at dead on, the best way I can do is just drawing it shorter, and then maybe I can kind of do a similar thing with the forearm. And naturally, your shin will just taper downwards, and from this angle, you'd kind of have I forgot the hamstring here. I think it is quads. I think it's your quads, or is your quads in your thighs? Ah, fucking I don't know, man. I'm not a physical therapist. I don't need to know about the muscles as much. Thank God. There's so many goddamn muscles. So this one's gonna be a little bit weird because the shoes are spiked. So they kind of look a little more like obviously like a bird's feet. I'm trying to think of how I would do that. Like this. And give a little space, and then go out again. Not terrible. Because it is still shoes. Okay, now I see. So I'll probably make this one a bit more of a wide. There we go. That works. Not sure about the connection between the foot there. Kind of the best I can do right now, it seems. I mean, thankfully I only need to draw one foot, so it's like, fucking whatever. And then next leg, the easier one. Honestly, one thing I really like doing is working within limitations. And that is, I don't want to draw feet. So what I'm gonna do is hide the foot under the body. Not like it's an idea I wouldn't have thought of normally, but it does also help sell the illusion of like a first-person perspective of, hey, this is your character, person standing on top of them, and then, you know, just off to the side, like they're like so close you can't even see their other foot, which can come back and bite them, because in the next scene, so what I had made for the next scene is when I'm introducing the other character, like the third character, it's gonna start with kind of like this shot, and then like a hand is gonna grab them. And then this will only be like 2 frames, thankfully. And then it's gonna cut to like a kind of like a smear frame, where it transitions from this scene to like them to like a first-person angle of them being held upside down with the other character, basically like a full what was I say? The character holding their arm up with how much? I don't think you would have to do perspective because I'd be grabbing onto their legs. But yeah, basically holding them up upside down, like way above their head. So that's kind of like the idea I was going with. It definitely fucking beats, like, so if anyone, I guess this can't easily apply to Twitch because I don't have it on Twitch, but
on YouTube, I made a community post being like, hey, I'm still not dead, even though I have been streaming like pretty regularly. I posted a gif of the first one, which is like 3 different poses, I think. He was like 3 or 4 different poses, but then 2 frames. One was like more shaded in because it was less. Oh my god, that took ages. This is only going to be 2. Is it going to be 2? No, 3. Because I did. There's one I did prior. All right, so we're kind of done there. So then I'll kind of work on the armor and just adding that after the fact. So I know I'm gonna experiment with this. I know some people do this. I really don't, and I kind of should. I will go like a dark red, and then use that to like overlay the clothes. So let me bring the image back up. Fun fact, that YouTube post was actually one of my first attempts at. And let me just delete the prior stream real quick. There we go. It was one of my first attempts at like actually shading. I just like don't do shading whatsoever. I also mostly do sketches. Like that's what I get most of my practice in. Okay, so yeah, bring up the image again for me on my end. I want to point out I am literally sitting in like a cheap Walmart capsule chair that I bought like years ago for when I was doing traveling. Sitting uncomfortably close, bent over forward because my headphone cable is actually not that long. And I kind of like sitting at a weird angle just to make all of this work. Also, like is a DisplayPort like the standard for graphics cards? Because I have a 3060 and it has 1 HDMI and 2 DisplayPorts. So I can't actually use all my both my monitors. I had to unplug one of them just so I can plug in my drawing tablet because it's HDMI only. I mean, I could do an HDMI to DP thing, but that's money and I don't feel like spending that. Made it really annoying when I was trying to draw when I was up in Vermont, and like I think Vermont mostly, because I would have to unplug my monitor, then plug in my tablet every time and redo a bunch of settings. Where is that image? I'm distracting myself. All right, cool. So just making sure nothing else is here. Sometimes I'll like forget that I made a new layer or not. Okay, so armor piece. I'll try going with the basic shape first. Kind of goes over her shoulder a little bit, not like too much. I'll actually have it above that slightly. There we go. And it appears it mostly goes in a straight line up until it points a little bit. And then there's a little ball. So there's that. Let's give it more curvature. Here. So it goes down like this. Make it pointier up there. Yeah, that works. And then it's got like a little red jewel on that. And then we can repeat that on this side, but a little bit easier since I only have to draw the top end. It'll probably cover more down here. And then we got the little sphere. And do that. No, that actually seems about right. Although I guess technically I could make it look more on the inside, but this looks fine, I think. I'm definitely a big fan of the 80-20 rule. I forget what the 80-20 rule was. No, I was thinking that's a different rule. With the similar numbers. Basically, I'm fine with just going 80% of the way there because the last 20% will take like 5 times the effort to reach. Although I like to tweak that a little bit and say, listen, That last 20%, it ain't happening. Like, it'll take 3 times the effort to do 90%, but you're not hitting 100%. Nothing can be perfect, and that's okay. Alright, so... I, like, readjusted myself, and now everything's all uncomfortable. Damn it. Whatever. So, I put my phone down. I was like, where's my reference? The only 80% of 20 rules you know is the makers of Treasure Planet. So that might have been 60-40 too. I believe the 80-20 rule is like something that's like actually very prevalent in so many things, so many parts of life, where generally, tugging on my cord and it's it is like usually 80% of something is done by 20% of something. I forget what things it applies to. But it's usually the idea is that more often than not you'll find that like the vast majority of something is done by like a relatively small amount. I think that was true for a while, where it's like 80% of the world's wealth was owned by 20% of people. But that's definitely changed in the last little bit. Okay, so armor. And I guess we'll do the neck. She has like a weird like neck. Like someone it's like a turtleneck for a turtleneck if you were wearing a tube top. Like it's basically just the like a neck sleeve. I'm trying to think. Do I wanna go like this? Does that work? They make it flatter. I think that's fine still. And oh god damn it. Alright, this cable's getting it. Making me lose my goddamn mind. There we go, that's much better. I start next. Probably work on the arm brace, like the braces. Oh, this is gonna be fun. So let's see. It's one of those things that goes like a little bit over your wrist. So the wrist goes this way, so the arm's kind of twisted away from the body. So I'm thinking there's also like multi-layered. Like it has this part, and then as it goes up the arm, then it has like this part that goes back. That, and then shorten it a little bit. There we go. It looks like it doesn't cover the back of the arm as much. So let me just erase that. Just make it eat a little bit more cleanly there. Oh shit, wrong thing. And that's done. Alright, so where does this thing go? So it kind of slants a little bit, then covers the rest of this. That seems okay. And then the other side, which will be a lot easier. Still kind of facing a little bit away from the body, though. Don't quite like that shape. Actually, I have the right idea. It just doesn't go as it doesn't slope as quickly. It actually goes more like this. There we go. That's much closer. And there we go. That part's done. I think like right here, there's also a little strap. I gotta make sure I include that. Anything I can do to like kind of help mitigate some of that negative space. Because my colors are very much flat. I will take whatever I can get. And then the clothing. I'll do the skirt next. So this is kind of where that waistline line will come into handy, because then I can kind of make the skirt follow that too. So this goes like, it looks like it's just past the knee. Actually, it might be go a little bit above the knee, but I'll go past the knee. And I simplified it in my first drawing because there's no way I could do that much detail. I will make it... That? No, I did it wrong. Does not go that does not go that far. Who puts this in their relaxing music playlist? Absolutely unhinged behavior. Does not feel like a relaxing track. Okay. So there's actually multiple layers to it. Because first this goes down here. This part goes up here. And then this little extra cloth goes down there. And it pretty much goes like that until there's a new cloth that kind of picks back up. I guess, you know, I guess the hand partially would be, the hand back would be covered by this thing. Alright, I think. And then we obviously have to make this. I have no idea what it looks like in the back, so I'm going to assume it's like one complete piece. Probably. Just to make my life easier. I think this is looking alright so far. I'm hating myself for this choice, but like, I'm working with what I got. Kind of looks like just shorts more than anything. It's kind of like shorts. Which I think is even funnier. Okay, so... like, technically it's more like a... Like, it really is... This armor really is kind of like a tube top, but with like a big ornate decoration up on the front covering the rest of the skin. But I'll kind of make the... I prefer to make it a... Goes up there... It actually looks more. It looks a little bit because the midline from this perspective would kind of be like this, like that. That's where the torso will be pointing. So it'll be more like over here. With the kind of almost a robe-like art that would go around the body up the shoulders. I mean, anything under the breast is just not going to be seen whatsoever. But I guess I could do that to kind of plan it out. And maybe the hardest part, doing the head look big. God, I thought the head looks big again. God damn it! I keep doing this. I don't fucking care anymore. I'll deal with that later, or never. I'll just focus on trying to make sure it's good next time. Like, it looks fine. The head looks big. I'm trying to go for like a real, like ideally I want to make some more realistic looking art eventually. I gotta stop. I gotta like get my proportions down, or else it's gonna look really fucking weird. That you have like this piece that's that's like shaded, textured immaculately, and painted very well. But then it also kind of looks like a fucking like one of those political satires with the proportions, where it's like a way too detailed face, but it's like 3 times the size of their body. So they do. So this goes under here. This is gonna be like the gold part. Actually, no. It'll be like a little bit above where the breast ends. There we go. And that ideally would get covered. Yeah, that would get covered up by the arm for sure. Actually, given the perspective, I think it would slant a little bit more down. Maybe? No, it would still come up a little bit near the end. Oh, I think what looks weird is because I made it a little too wavy down here. That looks a bit better. And then the feathers. Another case of just like pain in the ass detail. I accidentally deleted that. Well, balls. I'll just use that to cover the rest of it. Saves me from having to draw any kind of like undergarments. I'll just add like one extra one here. Gonna sell it. It's still getting bigger. Alright. And it also has a skull like on it. So the skull kinda is like the top of the head. And then you have like the little eye socket here, which when you're looking at it from the side kinda divots down a little bit. Cheekbone. Jaw. Rotate this slightly. But it's still ultimately kind of like a flat thing. Rare art stream. Yes, I need to fucking finish this goddamn video sooner or later. And a little skull nose. I mean, I guess I'm putting too much perspective on something that ultimately is flat. Yeah, I think that's fine, actually. Because it is still kind of like a 3D... whatever you want to call it. It is like a... I'll say embezzlement. No, embezzle isn't the word. Whatever, it's on there, so I think that's okay. And this kind of leads... Actually, I'll shrink it down. It's not that big. Because it also gets entrapped in a circle. Damn it. I know I could do like... Ah, there we go. I know I could do like simple lines to get the circle right, but I also like doing it in one stroke if I can. I practice it a lot. Alright, so... Then that would come down here like this. And let's add some... You know what? Let's try and like mimic the clavicle here. By kind of making it jut outwards and then kind of curving towards the shoulders. Alright. I think that's it for armor. I'm not missing anything. I got the gloves, I got the shoulder pads, I got the helmet. I got the little body piece. Kind of... Oops. Oh well, then I accidentally hit my eraser button. Whoops. If you suddenly see my thing expand, like, greatly, I accidentally hit my eraser. Also shit. I copied the wrong color. Good. Good enough. And I have the skirt, feet. Oh, actually, I'm stupid. Hold on. There we go. I forgot about the leg parts. Another way to sell that perspective is like on the top part of the leg braces thing. On the closer leg, it's gonna be curved upwards, but here, because it's further away and like lower, it's gonna be down. Spent all this time making a good curvature of the leg, even though I immediately just say fuck it. And this is a strap. And this is a strap. Oh shit. Same thing for this. A bit too high up. I'll be honest, like, I'm moving way faster than I usually do. Not because I'm hurrying, but because, like, when I'm on my own, I am just, like, distracted, and, I mean, I'm still fucking tired. I feel worse than I did yesterday. And I felt better than the previous day, so I'm kind of back to square one. That don't look too good. Ah, shit. Oh, well. Draw a line through there. Perfect. I mean, perfect, I mean good enough. Good enough. Alright. So now I can do the line art phase. Where I then get rid of this? Oh shit, right. I didn't copy the... actually I will do the hands. Oh, whoops. I made 2 layers on accident. So... let's put a hand to look like this grabbing this. Sometimes I use like my own hand as a reference. So I'm thinking... that? So this would be the back of the hand. This is like the first knuckle, second. Nah. Like that. Then this is the first. The second would be like around here, and then you would have the finger grabbing this part. Wait, no, I got this in there. Fuck. Because this is the end of the finger. And have this more outwards like this. Maybe? Hands suck. Hands fucking blow, okay? Let me get like a reference. If I could find a good reference. Nah, not really good. This is not ideal. Wait. Kinda? No. Wait. I'm like on the right idea. Okay, I think like where I'm going wrong is thinking that it has to like be gripping it. Or like be like fused with it. And then I'll have another finger here. Maybe if I start with the thumb, I can get somewhere. Yeah, I think that might be a good idea. Thumb on that. And then from there I can do the fingers. Right, because I also have to I also have to account for the wrist too. Fuck. Can we abolish hands? Can everyone just have like sticks for fingers, please? And we like pick things up with our minds. I cannot be fucked with hands right now. I feel so bad for anyone who has like a fetish for hands and feet. I can't imagine those commissions are expensive or cheap. Like they have to be quite expensive. That don't hit. That don't fucking hit, right? What looks wrong with it? What if it was like this? Yeah, okay. Okay. I think we got it. Fuck it. I might just call it there. I'm just gonna say, you know what? Like, because the rest of the fingers are gonna be like further back than this one. I don't like. Maybe I can do like this to kind of give the impression there's more fingers. But the rest are gonna be behind the index finger and the middle finger, so you won't really see those. Holy shit balls, that actually worked. Like I said, it's just trial and error, man. I forgot if I even said that. But it is. This is not relaxing music. This is too overly energetic and cheery. Also, you can see I'm vastly oversimplifying the shape of that spear. Because that fucking staff in the image is like a fucking cathedral in detail. I ain't touching that. And also trying to make a shape like this point forward towards you? I don't know. Kind of like my best attempt. Because what I ended up doing is just making it shorter and more like stubby of a point than it being as like long and tapered like that. I did not like the choo-choo at the end. I feel uncomfortable. Okay, so I can get rid of that now. Yeah, I'm missing... Yeah, I guess technically the body here. I might alter the perspective of this. I'm not sure. What a mystical homepage recommendation, Polo. I'm glad you found me off that. Yeah, I'm like, I've been delaying on making a new YouTube video for a while because, like, one, health issues, and two, I gotta take a sip of some drink, and two, I've been, like, increasing my scope to the point where, like, I think it's, like, 16 total, like, full, like, not say full, but, like, mostly detailed images that I'm drawing, and it takes a while. Art takes time. No one told me this when I was getting into it. I thought like I just put $20 into like the wind, and suddenly like 20 minutes later, a gigantic 4K render appears in the mail. Artists are insane. They are insane. Like, I've only been doing this for like 2 years. Like, just under, actually. And I'm like, I already regret this. Like, I love it, but I also slightly regret it. The setup I have to have for my tablet is like super inconvenient because I never do this. I use a completely different computer to draw on. Okay. Yeah, I gotta slide back a little bit. There we go. Okay, so now that that's done... Okay, cool. Then I'm going to go down here. I'll fade this out slightly so I can do the same thing. And then this is kind of where I'll do the lines. It really is. Good lord. Like, I almost prefer the days when I was like worse at art, where a sketch for me would be... Like what? Like 30 minutes? 45 minutes at most? Now as I'm like able to get more detailed and try different ideas, it's reaching like an hour, hour and a half. Like, man. But that's also because I try and like explore concepts that I don't do. I don't usually like to like get complacent. Like the last few art pieces I've done have been kind of the same, like slightly 3/4 character angle, kind of like stock character art kind of angle. And I was like, I feel like I can do way more with this than just this exact same boring fucking angle. I mean, it gets the job done, don't get me wrong. Oh yeah, this I gotta readjust this because the playlist reset itself. All right, what's 41 videos. Relaxing. All right, I mean, it's gonna be a lot of the same music. Let's pick something else. Let's go with Hillx soundtrack. Hillx 2, specifically. All right. So a couple of these songs were done by like a different composer. They're done by a different composer, so like this one will sound good, but then like the next one might sound kind of a lot less structured. But the Hillx 2 soundtrack is so good. Same thing, you sort of miss those days when drawing left you satisfied. A drawing that left me satisfied with 50 minutes. Yeah, but here's the thing, you can't go back to that, because then when you look at your old art, you're like, wait, I was satisfied with this? Like, I never really had an issue with like the quality of my art for the most part, because obviously I knew I was growing, but well, I always remembered all the stuff that I looked at that was like, well, I'm super proud of this. I look back at it and I'm like, that was dog shit. I'm sorry, past me, you fucking suck. And then past me to be like, yeah, I know, because I don't give a shit. Sucking at something is how you get good at something. Like, oh my god, when I was doing first doing my regular human faces. Yeah, it's pretty much a standards change. Cause you can I think it's more of a case of, like your base. Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, expectations is a good word. I don't know where I was going with that. Right. Now for like the really, it's all and like that 1 hour is like it's for like a sketch too, not even counting trying to color it and not even trying to color it or do like solid line work. I don't even do that, honestly. This is like one of the very few times I'm actually giving my stuff solid lines. I very much prefer sketching just because I get to make something and throw it out there. And sometimes the way like sketchy line work looks, it can kind of look better than neat, clean lines. But that could just be me. I feel like I have an association with like cartoonish art that making something look a lot rougher and have holes that your brain kind of fills in looks a bit grungier and better. Also, yes, I use the scroll bars instead of the hand tool because I am unhinged. The first regular human faces are always a thriller to watch. You do not risk taking a look into your old sketchbook anymore. Oh man, that is one thing I will say. I got my start doing furry artwork for stuff between my friends because it's way easier to like not hate yourself when you can do okay bodies and like, you know, drawing like a random animal head is way easier than a human head because, you know, you don't reach that uncanny valley. So even if it does look certifiably weird, you don't like your brain's not screaming at you. So while I don't really care about furry art much, it was definitely a way to get my foot into working on parts of art without that relentless screeching of oh my god, this looks terrible, put that fucking pen down, chop off your hands, you have lost art privileges. But then I also did kind of reach the standpoint of if I don't like break out of drawing this stuff, if I don't like break out of drawing this stuff, I'm eventually gonna like get too used to drawing fairy art, and I really didn't want to. It was okay. I was sucking, like my bodies were good, but then my human faces sucked so much by comparison that I kind of was like disappointed in myself, and I was like, I really don't want to keep drawing furry art. It just isn't my thing. And then I just kind of bit the bullet and just kept drawing faces and faces and faces until I got alright with it. An okay human body with a random animal head sounds like a great idea for an absurd horror. Kind of does, but honestly, I don't. The first thing I thought of when you said that was just like One Piece. It kind of is body horror in a way, but One Piece had a really fucking funny like running bit during one of their arcs where like one of the villains like his gang, every single person had like really fucked up animal anatomy. Like they were like a regular guy, but one random part of their body became an animal. I'm pretty sure some guy's dick was a giraffe or something. Like there was something absurd. like you have one guy. Oh no, there was one guy who was like a regular guy, but then he had an entire giraffe coming out of his asshole. So like it was basically a giraffe, but the head of the giraffe was like the entire guy, and that's just what he was like the rest of his life. And I'm like, holy shit! I know it's played up for laughs, but that's kind of terrifying. It really was. It like I said, it was very much played up for like laughs as like silly designs, but when you think about it, it definitely got to some body horror. You need to watch it. I would Yes, like I could not find it because it was so long ago in the manga. But it was literally, yeah, like one of the, because like I think one of the guys, his fist, like one of his fists was literally replaced with an entire gorilla. Like a gorilla's upper half was coming out of his fist. Like when I say it was literally just like one person with one random part of their body was replaced with like parts of or a whole animal, it's like that. I think one guy had like his belly button replaced with a lion's head, which kind of made it look like his dick was a lion. And I think they played into jokes like that. It was all like background characters for the most part. But yeah, about getting into One Piece, I'm not gonna say I recommend against it. I will say one thing: look up the episode count for One Piece or the chapter count if you read the manga, and make your decision from there. That manga has been going on since 1997. So, yeah. It's long. It's good. Oh, let me pull up my phone because I read the manga because I'm gonna be honest, the anime wastes a lot of time. Like, it genuinely does. I want to say at some points, an entire episode of the manga will be like half a or an entire episode of the anime was like half an episode of the manga at some point, like 5 pages. What kind of craze fetish does the creator of One Piece have? Women. Because if there's one thing I will say is that every woman in that like it has the craziest character designs ever. But like only for men. For the women, unless they're like really ugly women and they play it up as a joke. For the women, they all look the exact fucking same. Like a One Piece woman would literally just look like this. Like this is like their abdomen. They'll have their fucking like their hips just kind of flare out like that. And their torso will literally just be like a fucking like watermelons nailed to a lamppost, and their head shape will always be the same, like very pointed chin with like a short round face. They might change their hair a little bit, but that's like basically the shape of every woman in One Piece. It's kind of wild that in did I accidentally delete some of I did shit. Yeah, but like I said, like the manga, the anime wastes time. It has a good chunk of filler. There is one episode I swear to God was such a bad filler I just skipped it outright, which I rarely ever do. Which was like they're jumping over a bridge, and the entire episode was just jumping over a bridge. But then it'll be like they move like 1 inch, then it goes to a flashback with some like long flashback sequences. Then it cuts back to the bridge, and then it goes back 5 seconds to before they jumped off the bridge. Then they run forward and jump off the bridge even further, but like a different camera angle. Then it cuts back to some other things, like it comes back to some other angles or like flashbacks. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I mean, a lot of shows have things like that, but when One Piece is like, so last Sunday. A lot of one-faced woman and animal replacing random body parts. Not gonna lie, this is convincing. I will say the animals convincing people's bodies was only for like one part of an arc. Granted, that arc literally lasted 3 years. So you have a good chunk of funny designs to look at. But yeah. One Piece is a lot of things. It's like genuinely a really good story though. Like it really is. I like it. It can be a slow start, but I think it's good if you have a lot of free time. But yeah, last Sunday, actually, was that Sunday? Yes, 3 days ago, chapter 1163 came out of the manga. What's the anime at? I have no idea. I stopped watching at episode like 900. And I want to point out, I say this as someone who does not care about anime. I am not an anime guy whatsoever, really. But like One Piece does have me hooked. Where's the One Piece? Here we go. Oh my god, it almost has more episodes than there are chapters. Holy shit. Guys, remember that one part of the show centered around an island filled with women and snakes, and all you could think of is, man, those are some cool snakes. Reddit is women and snacks. Oh my god. I'm trying. Well, you know what? I'm not gonna go into it. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. I'll just leave my mind here myself. But yes, that arc. You wanna know, here's a fun fact. There was so much filler that was like randomly going between the main story and like this weird feudal Japanese arc of One Piece that when that arc started, I think it's called Amazon Lily, with the ladies and the snake ladies. I genuinely thought that was more of the filler bullshit. So I actually skipped several episodes into it. And then I was like, wait a second, no, this is actually just the regular One Piece arc. So I completely missed like the first 10 episodes. I just like never went back to it. I was so confused for like 3 episodes. And then when I actually was able to piece things together, I was like, okay, this is what's going on. That's how fucking bad the filler is. If I recall, there's actually a group that does some edits to the show. Oh yeah, no, One Piece and the One Piece anime. I don't think it's as bad as Naruto from what I understand, but it's I would say it's less filler, like filler episodes and more filler content. Like in one of the later arcs, there's literally one scene that lasts for several minutes. That's only 2 pages in the manga. I'm like, really? Is that? I mean, it is kind of necessary because of the time crunch those guys work on, but still. Granted, I would also say that the manga can kind of have the opposite problem, where sometimes it just skips. Like, not too often, but I remember when I was first reading the manga, I was like, wait, is Viz an official, like, purveyor of, like, the manga? Or am I actually watching it on some kind of, like, third-party site? Because, like, from one issue to the next, it felt like it just skipped, like, several entire fights. And apparently that's just what happens in the manga. Like these two guys get together, they're like, hey, we're gonna fight. And then the next issue just opens up to the fight being over. I'm like, wait, what? What happened? Like, it conveys the same thing, but it was just weird. That was also the first manga I've read. But yeah, I'm like not a big anime guy, but I do love One Piece. It's like one of the few things I really enjoy. Because it's just so unhinged. I will get into anything Russian, Croatian, Polish, like Japanese, like any like cultural background of content. If it's unhinged enough, I will fucking watch it easily. That's why like I like Naruto and I like Bobobo. Holy shit, Bobobo is the funniest fucking thing in the world. And I could go on for like literal years about that manga and anime. The anime especially, like that's actually one anime I would recommend. Because it is dense with information. Good. The only problem with Bobobo is... So Toei actually has been recently uploading episodes of the manga, or the anime, to YouTube. But sometimes... What? Oh my god, okay, you're gonna get me started. Basically, Bobobo is... Or I'll just say Bobobo because that's what everyone shortens it to in the show. It's a comedy manga, but it pertains to completely surreal, like parody shit taking of like other Japanese media and just general absurdist and surreal comedy. Like the character is a fucking like reverse pyramid shaped man named Bobobo who uses his special fist of the nose hair, which is literally him attacking people with like nose hair whips. But really, what actually happens is most of that show is is anime shonen fights, but told via comedy skits. Like the villain will almost always be super serious, and then Bobobo is literally just not giving a shit whatsoever. Like one fight, there's a guy, he's like, Bobobo, I'm gonna use my super secret tornado wind power and suck you into a impenetrable tornado fortress. And meanwhile, everyone gets sucked into a tornado and they can't escape. But then all of a sudden, like one of the characters is like, shit, I never studied for the final exam, as he sees like an entire classroom of desks and a teacher standing there in the middle of a tornado going in circles around it. and the Bobobo acting as the teacher screams at the other character saying like, it's time for your exam. Remember, if you fail for this exam, your contract isn't getting renewed and you'll be kicked off the show. And he's like, what? I'm gonna get kicked off the show? I better study. And then I think he tries to cheat. He tries to like cheat on someone else's test. And then at some point, Bobobo turns into a can of soda to leave the black hole. And then the tornado, and then when he leaves, he's like, "Whew, I escaped there," and then he jumps right back in. It is pure fucking stupidity. It is glorious. It is so fucking funny. The anime, unfortunately, ends before the finale of the season. Like, literally, like, right before the final battle, they're like, well, unfortunately, this is the end of the show. So, does any of the actors have anything to say, or have anything to say before we send our viewers off for one final time? And that's, like, literally where it is. They're literally walking to the final boss fight for that arc, and it just ends. It sucks, but it's still worth the watch. Because, honestly, you're never gonna follow the story. There, like, 90% of the time, there is no story. Like, you have an overall idea of what's going on, like the goal, but it's literally like one moment they're fighting their way through a tower. Dude, it is. Oh my god. It is pure acid trip. And the voice acting is excellent. It is like, because like they have a really high, they have like actually really talented voice actors doing it. Granted, I think they were a bit less well known because this was back in 2007 when the anime came out in America. But they had like Richard Epgar, Jameson Pierce, who are now like very prominent anime voice actors. Like, if you've ever heard of or watched I'll say Bobo's Bizarre Adventure, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, it's literally like the main characters are literally the voice of Dio and Jonathan Joestar. Like, doing basically the same exact voices. And before going for that nap, you probably took 100 grams of God knows what. Oh, absolutely. If I recall, someone mentioned meeting Richard Epcar, who asked about Bobo, and I believe Richard Epcar literally just said, I have no idea I have no idea how much acid they were on when they made that show. And that's about right. English voice actor. I would highly recommend the English version of Bobobo because a lot of the jokes in Bobobo are it's kind of weird. So I'm actually reading the Bobobo manga because the Bobobo manga was fully translated into English by fan translators. There is an official version, but apparently the official English manga starts in the middle of the entire series. Like, volume 1 of the English version is volume 15 of the Japanese one. Which is fucking unhinged. And it goes on for like 5 volumes and that's it. But, you watched a video of someone that sounds pretty, someone sounds pretty similar, like that guy. But everything in the known universe and then some still makes sense. I have no idea what the fuck. Maybe I just like lost the context. I have no idea what the fuck you just said, to be honest. But yeah, like the English version, it has a lot of translated jokes because a lot of the jokes in the got quite a big delay. Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, YouTube's like that. Sometimes the delay is like really not that bad. Sometimes it fucking sucks. But it's okay. We're not in a rush. Oh, the writer of Bobobo. The way you described him sounds familiar to someone. Ah, okay. But yeah, Bobobo relies on a lot of wordplay. So some jokes make less sense in America than they do than they did in Japan. So they do appropriate some jokes and by like changing them up, and generally they're pretty good. Like for example, there's a joke about eating natto, I think it's called, which is basically like fermented beans, which is like really slimy and sour tasting. But because of the way it's animated in the Japanese, in the English version, they say that, oh, you're eating spider webs. And I'm like, you know what? That makes less sense. But because it's Bobobo, it honestly is perfectly on brand. Like, not understanding the jokes is somehow better. Also, the manga is like way more inappropriate. Like, it's also way more violent. They swear a lot more. Like, it's actually quite a vulgar thing. Oh yeah, oh dude, like, honest to God, I am genuinely impressed that the anime was as funny as it was. I watched it as a kid, and it had me in hysterics. Like a really fucking good joke. Like here, I think here's a good example of like a nice bait and switch. There's a joke where okay, I have to like pull it back a second. You need more context. The episode starts with the main characters owning a farm and planting chopsticks. They have a chopstick farm. They're literally planting chopsticks. I don't fucking know why. There's no context. It literally just cold opens to this completely different situation. And then I drink some water and then use the restroom in a second. And then they're kind of going through the whole skit of like they're like defending the farm from like a pencil case stealing the chopsticks because he's trying to. I think he like thinks they're pencils. And then after that ends, they go to bed, and then like an evil villain plants something in the garden that grows an amusement park the next day. Maybe it's only me who has a delay. VPN's hella slow. Yeah, that's also possible. So like, so one of the evil villains is like, all right, time to execute plan. Fucking, I don't know. Hits a button, then like they plant a beanstalk that grows into an amusement park, and that becomes the evil villain's base. So they're like going through a whole amusement park that overnight is now full of people. I don't fucking know why. They go in, and they're going in to save their friend. Brand new character, never introduced, who's like being hung upside down, forced to eat spaghetti. Yes, chopstick plantation. He's like forced to eat spaghetti. And they're like, no, you can't force feed him spaghetti. Or some shit like they're treating it like if he eats spaghetti, he like breaks whatever like religious alliance he had to another food group. I think it was curry. And so they're going to save him, and they're like each of the characters goes off on their own, and they're fighting like various villains on amusement park rides, and one of them was on a Ferris wheel. They get in there, they're like, we have to keep you know, an eye out because the villains could be anytime, anywhere. And in the Ferris wheel pod, the two main characters look across, and there's like literally the villain right there, giving them a really evil glare. And then it cuts back to the other like side characters being like, "Oh, I hope they're safe. Maybe they found any bad guys." Delay's a minute and a half. Okay, yeah, that might be a VPN thing. I've had it be as bad as 30 seconds, not a full minute.
Honestly, Chopstick Plantation doesn't sound as weird compared to a meat growing on plants. That does sound really weird. And then it cuts back. Oh, I think I saw a bad guy on there. Hope they're okay. And then it cuts back to the pod, and they're like literally shooting the shit with the guy. They're having good conversations. They're like, "What is like? So you're telling me Janine said what to you?" And he's like, "Yeah, I know. Can you believe it?" And then it cuts back to them, like the other side characters, dealing with like their own other situations, and then it cuts back to them having another conversation. Then it cuts back to the side characters as the Ferris wheel ends and they get out of the what do you call it, Ferris wheel. And like no, as they're exiting the Ferris wheel, you still have them having a really nice conversation, like, "Oh yeah, give us your number, we'll do lunch or we'll do brunch." And then when it stops and the doors open, mist comes out, and then everyone's in a fighting stance. They look really battered up. One of the characters falls out like dead on the fucking floor, like he just got fucking demolished. And they're like, "Wait, what happened?" And then he grabs the guy who died, throws him off. He's like, "Here, you watch Dawn Patch. We'll have to finish this again with another round." He goes back on the Ferris wheel. It closes. They're having another really delightful conversation. They're like, "Oh, I hope he's okay again." And then it goes back around. It ends. The Ferris wheel opens. Same exact cut. Like, doors open. Mist comes out. The characters are in their battle pose, and the same guy who fucking died falls out again, even though he didn't go back a second time. One of the side characters looks off and says, "Wait, weren't you watching him?" And then the other guy's like poking a puddle of an orange puddle with a stick and say, "Oh, he melted." None of that makes sense, but it's fucking hilarious. And the fact that I can state that exact scene in detail is how fucking much that made me laugh. Like, I gotta pee now. But like, holy shit. There we go. Oh god, that show's so fucking funny. All right, back. But yeah, no, like that's like the fights in that show are pretty much how have we come so fast from chopstick plantations to people dying. That's Bobobo. That's the thing. That's Bobobo. It literally has no fucking breaks. It just keeps going and going and going and going. It's, oh my god. But you know, like fights are literally just skits that like the result of the skits end up like somehow hurting the final boss or whatever the guy they're fighting. Like basically it is just that BRB animations is freaking cute. Well, I'm glad. It's actually it's actually really old too. Like it was like one of the first things I drew in a while. I'm a big fan of Awesomenauts, so I decided to do something Awesomenauts related, and that's kind of like the best thing I could come up with for my limited skill, and only like 24 frames of animation that Clip Studio gives me. It's kind of a shame. All right, back to drawing. Also, I'm pretty sure Bobobo is like generally considered to be like the strongest character in all of like shonen anime. Like I think in any game where people are interacting with Bobobo, they are like shitting their pants because he is so fucking powerful. It's called Blue Elephants, Please, from Awesomenauts. That might be why you recognize it. If not, I'm curious where you might have heard it, because God, it's the No Blue Elephants, Please is the shop music from Awesomenauts.
I actually have it as my ringtone. It's that good. But yeah, I think it's like widely considered Bobobo is like the strongest fucking shonen protagonist, where everyone shits their pants when they see Bobobo, because he literally, he's literally just the I win character. He can apparently, like, he has died several times. His existence and the very concept of Bobobo has been like erased from existence, and he just comes back because fuck it, why not? That's like literally it. Like if it's for a joke, he can do anything. Here. But yeah, I did warn you. If you got me talking about Bobobo, I will fucking be talking about Bobobo. I love that shit so much. I love how all over the place the Hillock soundtrack is. Like the Hillocks 2 specifically. It gives you crazy Undertale vibes. Yeah, exactly. Not even having his concept erased stops him from being able to commit to the bit. You never heard of No Blue Elephants, please? Yeah, No Blue Elephants is the name of the song. The game it's from is called Awesomenauts. I can spell it here. This is my handwriting. It sucks shit. This is unironically my handwriting. Okay, hold on. Awesome. Not. It's an old 2D platforming MOBA that, you know what? Fuck you. We're listening to Awesomenauts music. Awesomenauts is fantastic because it gives every character its own their own theme. And they're like all different styles. Awesomenauts themes. Sorry if I hit my microphone. I can't see my keyboard. This is taking a second. Okay, here we go. So this is all of the characters' themes, and I think including their... So they also have different themes when they go on killing sprees. This is Sheriff Lone Star, which is the character that I put the... Yes, knots. It's like it's styled based off old Saturday morning cartoons from like the 80s and 90s. It's very silly. I wish it wasn't a MOBA, but unfortunately that's the life we live in. I don't think it's quite because they're astronauts. I think they just add knots because it's just kind of silly. Yes, this is literally a character named Froggy G, who's a rapper frog, and this is just his theme song. I love this. I love the. So the soundtrack was actually done by a group called Sonic Picnic. And I swear they've like never done anything remotely similar to this like since. They actually worked on the sound design for Horizon Zero Dawn and the DLC. They're like a third party from the developers. Fuck, you ran out of toast. I'd offer you some, but it's American bread. So I'm pretty sure if you ate that, you would die of beaties because there's so much sugar in this shit. Some of the early themes in this game were pretty they weren't very long. So that was kind of like literally 2 bars that just kept repeating. Oh yeah, this is Leon the Chameleon. It's literally a song about making out with cheese, I think. It's literally what the song is about. I had so much fun with this. All right. Man, we got so delayed by random bullshit talk. Also, I did see a comment about my voice being relaxing. I'm very glad. I'm surprised that it is because I'm usually pretty fucking energetic constantly, but you know what? I fall asleep listening to it depends. Sometimes it is just straight up politics. And so sometimes I'll fall asleep listening to what the fuck's it called? Dragon Ball Z Abridged. There was a time in my life where I really needed like something like normal that I recognize to keep myself going. So every night I would basically put on Dragon Ball Z Abridged and fall asleep to that. Shit, like that series is so fucking long, I would wake up and it would still be going. Like from episode 1 to like episode I think it was like 48 was a full 8 hours. I love Dragon Ball Z Abridged. God, that shit's so good. And then that was around the time when they started doing the creator commentary for Dragon Ball Z Abridged. So then I started listening to that instead because I fucking love their personalities. And talking about how they made the whole thing. So this theme here is for a giant robot named Clunk. So his story is he was created to fight the Great AI War. I think it was literally called. This game came out in like 2010, by the way. And before he could be deployed to combat, the war ended. So he had to get repurposed as like a maid. But because he was like a robot who was designed to run at things and self-destruct, he had anger management issues. So he could never really land that job as a maid very often and very long. But he made enough money to reinforce himself so that when he turned into a hired mercenary, he could run at things and explode and not die. That's literally it. It's fucking awesome. It's so dumb. It really is 11 out of 10 character design. On the bright side, if I can get this done today, I'll be like so close to being able to finish my fucking video. Like I'll have to draw like maybe like 1 or 2 more things. And then we're good. All right, cool. Yeah, this character's literally like the first monkey the Russians sent into space. He got sucked into a black hole, and that sent him so far into the future and made him hyper intelligent. Which game or movie is the guy you're drawing from? So this is Path of Exile. So basically what I do on my YouTube channel when I'm actually doing it is I do like reviews of video games, and I've been kind of like increasing my ideas more and more as time went on. So I'm doing a video on Path of Exile, and when I talk about the builds in Path of Exile, because Path of Exile is an ARPG known for like having insane build customization, I want to like introduce my builds and the character and their cosmetics with like a gag. So I'm drawing like the characters and the cosmetics that they're wearing. So that's what it's from. It's not like a specific character. It's just some cosmetics in the game that I like, and I'm using them, much to my chagrin. This skull is just having some cheekbones of a Chad. Exactly. Listen, that's honestly, skulls are just like that. So when you think about it, we all have Chad skeletons underneath us at all times. Oh, I never finished that part. There we go. It's gonna be segmented now, but whatever. There we go. That should be good. We're getting there. Grab that. And for the bracer. But yeah, as I was mentioning earlier, I didn't finish the thought. You can get I think you can watch a good chunk of Bobo free on YouTube, like literally uploaded by Toei Animation, the guys who produced it. They were like, because when I was watching it, they uploaded like 23 episodes. Then when I went back to see some of the earlier ones for clips, it just wasn't there anymore. So I don't know if they're like only keeping so many up at a time and rotating them out or some shit. But they were doing that. I could be lazy and just do like this. Wait, no. Like that, and then... Yeah, skulls look like that. But it's like that one guy from Kevin, Your Dog Is Just... I have no idea what you're referring to, actually. Sorry, I'm gonna be randomly saying Awesome Knots facts, just because fuck it. Like, more pronounced like that? That works, kinda. Literally all this is saying, I think this is Swedish for Skoldir is coming, make ready the lemonade. That's it. That character, by the way, voiced by Simon from the Yogscast, because this was like literally 2012. So this was like right when like personality-driven YouTubers were really becoming a thing. So this game ended up featuring a good chunk of them. Jesse Cox, Press Hard to Continue, also known as Dodger, Total Biscuit. Who else? Ashley Birch, before she became like a really big voice actor and she was like a YouTube personality. Antfish was another one. I think he was less of a personality and more just like a guy who lent his voice to smaller YouTube projects. This is the character Total Biscuit played. Vinny and Spike. Of course, he has to talk in that very, very classic mobster voice. Yeah, see? I'm gonna put some holes in ya, see? I miss Total Biscuit. I'm sad now. I made myself sad. That's the unfortunate reality of like when you get really into like really old games. Turns out a lot can happen in 12 years. It's hard being a TF2 fan. Every March, you're like, wait, right. Rick May's dead. I'm sad now. You wanna know what's extra fucked up? Literally the day... Oh, is my internet dying? God damn it, this issue's happening again. You motherfucker. Well, you're probably gonna have more of a delay now. What? Frank here? Your name's kind of hard. I'm gonna call you Frankie, until you correct me. But yeah, sometimes my internet fucks up, and will just like shit itself and be really slow. It might look really crunchy until it resolves itself. The thing about Kevin is that it's a crazy, strange meme that had you wheezing for a while. Ah, gotcha. But yeah, you know what's fucked up about the Rick May thing? So Rick May passed away. You can just call me Dosto. I'll try to remember that. I'll probably forget, but I'll try to remember that. So, when I heard the news of Rick May's passing, the voice actor for Soldier in Team Fortress 2. Oh goddamn! Is it dead now? No, the stream is not lagging for you. My internet is garbage. So like my internet's really good, but sometimes my upload speed just craters in the afternoon. And it just does that. I have no way of stopping that. Like I've literally called 3 times to get this fixed. So probably after I come home from my surgery, I'm going to get a technician out here. I'm gonna keep making this an issue until they fix it. God damn it. Yeah. Close my Twitch chat. Yeah, it's my internet. Oh. Well, just have. It's actually gotten itself and be fine. Lately, it's just been disconnecting. So I have to quickly and restart it so that YouTube doesn't make me have to create a new live stream. I'll just keep finishing this up. Fuck it. But yeah, so... Oh, so I am getting a surgery. I have sleep apnea because of a deviated septum. At least that's what my surgeon thinks. And I've used a CPAP for like a year now. over like almost 2 years, and it's just not been helping in the slightest. So I'm gonna be getting that done because I am like literally a zombie.
All right.